Good morning, everyone. It's really lovely to see you all, and I can see there's lots of people online, which is really great. And I hope you enjoyed that lovely presencing into our event today with that beautiful song, Dear Earth, connecting us to our purpose here today. I'm Janet Salisbury, and I'm the founder of the Women's Climate Congress. And after many months of preparation, it's very exciting to be here at last for this first event in our National Congress of Women series. I'd like to acknowledge that we're all meeting on the lands of First People whose sovereignty has never been ceded. I pay my deep and heartfelt respects to the elders past, present and emerging. And we're here in Canberra on the Ngambri Ngunnawal land, and I'm going to introduce you in a minute to our local elder, Matilda House, who will welcome us to her country. Please feel free to write in the chat what your country is. But first, just a very few words about our Congress. The Women's Climate Congress was formed in January 2020 after the Black Summer bushfires. We have a vision to restore climate balance by 2030. In this future, women's leadership has helped turn the tide of political culture from polarised discord to collaboration and cooperation. Nurture of life and care for the earth are at the centre of every government decision. By climate balance, we mean that in 2030, we will be on a path that the scientists agree will keep us within a safe limit of global warming, and our young people and children will be able to plan their lives with confidence. Many of you know that the Women's Climate Congress and this National Congress of Women was inspired by the 1915 International Congress of Women held at The Hague and attended by 1,500 women from warring and neutral countries. In the foreword of the report to that Congress, British welfare campaigner and anti-war activist Emily Hobhouse, wrote, "However silent and unseen, a movement must be wide and deep before it can find expression in a Congress so large and representative as that of which this report tells." From the outset of that terrible war, the International Women's Suffrage Alliance made urgent appeals to leave untried no method of conciliation and arbitration to avert the threatened unparalleled disaster. They felt that women had a special note to strike, which they alone could sound. So our aim in this National Congress of Women series of events is to create a movement that is both wide and deep, to once again find the special note that women alone can sound, a note that seeks conciliation and arbitration to avert the threatened disaster of climate change, and that brings a change in the universal attitude towards peace with the earth itself and nurture of all life, to open hearts in the service of a safe, sustainable and caring future. And now, it is my great privilege to welcome Matilda House, Dr. Matilda House, to welcome us. Matilda is a Ngambri Ngunnawal elder and chair of the Ngambri Local Aboriginal Land Council. She has contributed to many, many councils and committees to seek justice and support for her community. And in February 2008, Matilda conducted the first Welcome to Country to be held in the Australian Parliament. What an honour to have Matilda here today. I invite Matilda to.
Thank you very much, Jane. What an honour and a privilege it is to be here today, to have this blessings that we have done today, to be here and to celebrate this wonderful occasion for the National Congress of Women, who are doing the best they can and love and appreciate the times have gone by on how women have recognised the need, and as always, women who stood up to be counted. I'm Dr. Matilda House, and I have been in the land of my ancestors for quite a number of years. My great-grandfather was known as Black Harry, and it was his land. Well, it wasn't his land. He was part of this country. We don't own land. We are part of countries that we look after, and we have been looking after our lands, as many other Aboriginal people from all around Australia and the Torres Strait Island. To welcome you here for this conference means a lot to me and to my family, and we will always maintain how we can make a difference. And that's what this is all about today, making a difference. We'll keep on keeping on, because those who have still got a terrible attitude about not having climate change, the myth that they're living in will soon be part of their great-great-grandchildren, who will then ask, why did you let this happen? So I'm here today to welcome you all to this land of my ancestors, and we hope that we will have a lovely day to be blessed by wonderful people who are sitting here with me today and to have organised this wonderful conference. Have a lovely day and bless us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matilda, for that lovely welcome. And so now, well, I was just going to share with you that a few weeks ago, Glenda Clockley and I went and had a cup of tea with Matilda. And in that conversation, she told us also about the special place that our Parliament House is built on. The Australian Parliament House is built on part of her ancestral land. And she told us that all of that land in that area is a special women's place. Is that right, Auntie? Yeah, she's nodding. Which we thought that was very special, because we think all the women of Australia should know about this. So I'm now going to turn to our final presentation in this opening session, which is called The Singing Hill. And it's a 30-year-old story that links the welcome from Matilda with all of us settler women in a story about the land beneath Australia's Parliament House. And it's told by Dr. Glenda Clockley with the help of former Senator Joe Valentine, Johanna McBride and a chorus of women, with visuals by Sally Blake and video production by Daniel Pratt. So here I'll give you The Singing Hill.
When I think of wise elders, I remember afternoon teas with my dear friend Dorothy Cameron. It's nearly 20 years since Dorothy entered the realm of the ancestors. The story I will tell you brings wisdom from that place. It's a story for us now, for the politics of harmony between people and Gaia, the living earth. Tucked inside it is the very creative relationship between Dorothy's love of nature, her visionary poetic mind, and her life work of understanding Indigenous Europeans through their art. Her scholarly work crossed most of Europe and more than 1,000 generations, from the Ice Age through the beginning of agriculture and the millennia of flourishing, peaceful settlements. She showed me the way our ancestor artists encoded and passed on their knowledge of Gaia's ecological laws and spiraling rhythms. She taught me to tune into Mother Earth's vast regenerative powers in sacred images of women's life-bringing bodies, of birds and flowers, bees and trees, and patterns of land and water. Tea with Dorothy often went like this. She would be preoccupied with some trouble in the world. It might well be the awful state of Australian politics and the future of the planet. We'd talk about that. She would say something like, "Oh, how much we have lost." And then she would open her big imagination and the incredible library inside her mind that held thousands of symbolic images European artists made between about 30,000 and 5,000 years ago. And off we'd go, travelling through time past, present and emerging, moving between the inner and outer worlds. Always listening, Dorothy waits upon the songs. Always in her mind, the question of how the creative evolutionary powers of women and other people will recover the mysteries of rebirth, of bringing life out of so much death. This story brings Dorothy to us from the women's place called Kurrajong, or Capitol Hill, where Parliament House stands in Nanbury, Ngunnawal country. It's 1990. She is visiting Parliament House with some other Canberra women for a regular meditation date with Jo Valentine, Australia's first Greens senator. Jo is 44 years old. Dorothy is 74. They're fond of each other. Their ethics and bookshelves are similar. The women gather in the members' hall. They circle the pool of reflection fountain. Some feel shy. Some hearts are pounding. You can close your eyes. We can join the meditation. In this circle of women, everybody is safe. In this circle of women, minds become still. Emotion falls away. Dorothy is here in the circle. Her eyes are closed. Her big imagination opens wide. The fountain becomes a spring of wild water. The bees. A chorus of crickets. The ancestors are here. Women are singing. The hill beneath us is singing. At home afterwards, Dorothy is brimming. She had grieved for the song of that hill when they removed 1 million tons of soil to construct the new parliament. But the hill is still singing. A poem pours out of her. At the next meeting, she reads it to the women. She gives Jo Valentine a copy. Jo is a passionate politician, but for 7 years she's been a lonely voice in the Senate. The vitriol of shouting male politicians is exhausting. She misses her family in Western Australia. It's 1991 now, and Jo has decided to retire. Her valedictory address of farewell to parliamentary duties is scheduled for Thursday the 19th of December. This is a big day in Australian politics. Paul Keating topples the Prime Minister, Bob Hawke. There are long adjournments. Jo waits. Hansard reports that she starts her speech at 1:23 a.m. Listen. She's nearing the end. Listen. Jo's introduction of the Oracle of the Singing Hill may help guide this National Congress of Women. So let your imagination open wide the way Jo's does.
I'd like to read a poem by Dorothy Cameron. Dorothy is one of the people who's been coming into this building to meditate, to support me and all honourable senators in the hope that we would have more harmony in this building. Her poem is entitled The Singing Hill. The men in dark suits with endless disputes sit in the marble temple in the shining edifice built upon the hill. They are the elders of the present-day tribe, quite unaware that eons ago the hill was sacred and magic was there. For once it was the singing hill, the hill which sang the earth song at the meeting of the ley lines and the crossing of the song lines in the centre of the hills of the circling. The song of the earth was the women's song. They were the tribal elders then, who knew of the mysteries, who drew down the moon and nurtured the earth and its singing. Unknown to the dark suits shouting within, the women are returning to the centre of the circling, reclaiming their own songs. Circling the fountain in the shining edifice, circling the pyramid of the thrusting dome, they return to their own, and the chanting is beginning. The humming has begun. With the passing of the seasons, music from the singing hill will transcend the voices of the dark suits shouting their abuse. New tribal elders, the re-emerging daughters, will awaken Gaia, and the shouting will be stilled. The healing of the planet will begin. Gaia's woman energy will link the endless cosmos with the light of inner knowledge and a reverence for the earth. And the daughters of a different dreaming will recover the mystery, rediscover the harmony of the centre of the circling around the singing hill.
When I've watched that video, I've watched it 2 or 3 times now. It always gives me goosebumps to think of the women coming back into their own, into the Parliament, maybe in their own way, into that space. And I guess that's what we're here today to think about, how we as women can come together to reclaim our own space, not just to be fitting into a space that has been designed and built by others. So thank you very much to Glenda and all of those who were responsible for making that beautiful video. I hope all of our participants online enjoyed it. And I hope Auntie Matilda enjoyed it too. Yeah.